Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Best Rivals. I am your ever humble host, Michael, and I am forever joined by Benny Boy. Say hello, Benny.
Hello, forever, I guess?
And Hootster. Say hello, Hootie. What?
Hello for now.
For now. Ooh. And today we have an exciting topic because as we're recording this, it'll come out way later, but as we're recording this, Pokemon Day just happened? Is it right to say that it just dropped? Pokemon Day is the same every year, right?
Yes.
Why is it that day?
Is
Is it the anniversary?
Released.
Okay. That's cool
In
to
Japan,
become
specifically,
so big that your original release day becomes like, not a holiday, but like worldly celebrated. And we had some exciting news drop. I think the only one you guys want to talk about is Pokemon Legends. I didn't watch the Pokemon Day announcement, but I did watch the trailer for the new Z2A French Pokemon Legends.
We can go into the other ones if you want. There's the meat of the discussion.
We can really quickly say, just because I'm curious, really.
Okay.
Was there anything else cool that got announced, or was it just
There's
like...
some cool things. Do you want to go into it, Hiddy, or do you want me to just start listing stuff that I remember?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it cool, but I've got the list open. Essentially, the next biggest thing I would rank beside the Legends trailer is probably they're putting out a mobile app for the trading card game, which will just be like Duel Links, but for Pokemon TCG.
So it's like a simplified version of the TCG where you can open packs and play, but I don't think it's as complicated as the actual game.
I don't like it when they simplify it for mobile.
Well, for Yu-Gi-Oh! They had to, because Jesus Christ, that game's crazy. Pokemon's a little simpler. They might not have had to simplify it.
Okay.
Also, there's a cool thing they're doing. What do they call, like, story cards or something? Where, like, you can expand the art of the card and it will, like, move around and show you different Pokemon and stuff.
It is the same company that's, like, doing the artwork for the digital cards as the physical ones, I think.
Yeah, and the artwork in the Pokemon TCG.
So is it going to be different art for the mobile one? Like its own unique art?
I think so. They might
be cool.
carry some things over, but
one of these days I'm gonna snap and I'm gonna get really into the card collecting because I like it.
No.
They're really like the art of the cards is probably some of the best out there.
It's just the Pokemon I like never get good like drops. There's never like an APOM ZX or whatever the big cards are called.
Why would they have an APOM ZX?
That's what I mean.
APOM, surely.
I don't really. APOM's less cool. He looks a little weird. Monkeys don't have two tails.
Monkeys also don't have fists on their tails.
On the end of their tail. The trailer for the trading card game app has the start of it was kind of interesting, where it's just the dude opening the packs and he gets a notification. But there's a one point it looks like he's like on a date or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say. He starts opening them in the middle.
They know their audience.
And he gets the notification. Oh, you've got a pack, and he just starts opening. I was like, all right.
Did he like show the date of the cards as well, or something that he got? Or it was something in the trailer.
The subtext that I'm taking from it is that he gets a card and then sends it to another woman.
Yes, and it's a different woman entirely that receives this card.
And she looks so happy looking out the window that she received this card. I can't remember what card it was.
It was like Eevee or something, right? It was a common, whatever it was.
Women love Eevees.
Women do be loving Eevees.
With this other woman in front of him. Trading Pokemon cards to another woman that's on a bus somewhere. It's like, okay, real dodgy dealings, but power to him.
That's like the biggest new thing they revealed. Mostly was updates for other games to celebrate Pokemon Day and stuff.
I want them to continue, like the next Pokemon trading card trailer, to continue that storyline
Yes.
Like we get a whole like soap opera drama going on. It's like, who's he gonna end up with?
Like the two girls are together, and she shows her the Eevee, and the other girl gets mad and like challenges the guy to a battle to show off the battling system.
He happens to walk by in the street, and they both turn their heads and then look at each other like, "Wait, why do you know who he is?"
He sends like a really rare Eevee to one of them and a really basic one to the other, and then so much potential.
Pokemon, hire us to write your trailer lore. But the exciting one is the Pokemon Z2A announcement
For the spin-off games that I don't play.
Like new raids in Scarlet and Violet, and new characters coming to Unite, and Pokemon Sleep.
That's cool.
And stuff.
Yeah, if you sleep really good some night,
Raikou might come visit you.
I've researched that game. That game is kind of cool, but
it would kill my battery. I can't afford to be. My phone would die. I can't afford to be doing that.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game. You just set your
yeah.
on fire.
We should also point out there was a lot of, to give Michael some more build-up, there was a lot of Johto love in the trailer, a lot of Johto speculation beforehand, because I think Johto's is the longest region that the region we've gone the longest without visiting in a while, right? Because Heart Gold Soul Silver was the last time we got anything Johto related.
Naturally, by virtue of the passage of time, Johto was the last remake we got.
Oh right, so you're suspecting they're gonna come back to it?
People were expecting Johto's coming or Gen 5, because Gen 5 is next in the queue to get.
Oh, I see.
Well,
it wasn't even that. It was like the Pokemon Company themselves kind of swindled us a bit.
Yeah.
They were like teasing on their socials and everything. They were like,
and even if you watch the rest of that Pokemon. I don't know if it's Direct or whatever, the Pokemon update thing, it was full of like Gen 2 stuff, like there were unknowns following Pikachu around.
Yeah.
Raikou, Entei, and Suicune were in Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
All that came before they did their final announcement.
Which was just out of left field.
Yeah.
Would you be annoyed if they announced like a Let's Go Johto?
I would.
Really. I wouldn't be thrilled, but
yeah. I probably wouldn't play it.
Johto is Johto.
Because that's what I would suspect they would make, other than like a Legends Johto. But
probably go down the same route that they did with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a while since. When was Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? That was like
2019?
Yeah, 2019 or 2020 or something.
Not sure.
2019, 2020, yeah. I was playing it in when I was living with Connor. A little bit of Michael lore.
November 16th, 2018.
Oh
wow. I guess I waited a while to get it.
So it would have been 6 years since.
Damn. I didn't like the Legends Arceus game.
Oh no.
So
I would also like to put out that I did not finish Legends Arceus. I got really bored of it after a while.
It's
not to say I disliked it. It just was really empty. It got really repetitive after a while.
I suppose I kind of rushed through it. I finished it in 3 days because I had nothing better to do that Christmas.
Yeah. I liked the like Monster Hunter-y vibe of it, but Monster Hunter's repetition of like fighting the same monster is like cool because it's like a big fight every time. It's like fighting the alphas in the game, I think is what they made to mimic it. But most of, at least my playtime in Arceus, was catching the same like Floatzel Pokemon like 20 times. And it's like, that's not exciting. I love that. My favorite part of Pokemon is collecting all the Pokemon. But when it's like, go catch this Pokemon. Okay, now catch it 50 more times. It's like, well, I don't want to do that.
Pokemon they don't really do anything. They're just sort of walking around.
I liked that. I like them being out and about.
Yeah,
but catching them is just like seeing them and being like, hit with ball! And then it's like you run out of Pokeballs and it's like, okay, I gotta.
But my point is there were some interactions that were kind of cool. Like I think if you were injured, Chansey or Blissey could like rush over to you and heal you and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So there are interactions in the game, but there's not very many of them.
Yeah,
like the Pokemon interact with the environment in some way.
Yeah, I think that I get what you're saying, that, and I think they needed to do more of that, where it was like catching a Gyarados in that was like they were flying around and you had to go to like a cliffside and like more stuff like where like every Pokemon is its own unique thing instead of just being like, well, here's where the Starly spawns, here's where the Floatzel spawns.
There's a very set area for each like Pokemon, and you go there all the time. They're there. Have to like disperse themselves a bit better and mingle.
Yeah, why don't we just see like Staravia swooping in and just murking a bunch of Cricketots?
That would be awesome. That'd be so cool.
It would.
Yeah, you actively trying to catch a Cricketot and then just a flock of Staravia keep ruining your day.
But I do see Arceus was like a test run at the game, so I'm intrigued by the next one.
For what it was, I think it was a step in the right direction at the very least.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're not keeping it to the same kind of like time period, or like, I guess it probably
that's
is
something
the
we
same.
should discuss. Is we don't know what time period the game's in.
Was it in the trailer? Because I haven't played the X and Y.
The trailer's split. It shows the weird like neon futuristic Lumiose.
Okay, I didn't know if that was modern.
And then it looked modern day, but it was all neon stuff. And then there was the like urban redevelopment plan that was on pencil and paper and stuff. Okay, so it could be.
My out there guess is that it's like matching French historical like urbanization.
I was going to bring that up. Paris had a big redevelopment in the 1800s or something, or when was it?
1700s, I think, 18th century. Paris
had a big urban redevelopment, and so there's a theory that it's going to follow that.
Okay.
So it's just like a pre-modern setting by the looks of it.
Weird.
There is also the elephant in the room, of which you now know because we've discussed it on the crime episode, Michael. If you're going to talk about Kalos and going to the past, there is a big chunk, huge aspect of the Kalos lore that people want to know about. It might just that's the only place we know we're not going.
Yeah, I would be interested if they would broach that subject.
There's no way they ever do it there.
I feel like if they were to broach that subject, it would be alternate universe stuff where you're stopping AZ from doing it.
Because it could also just
I forgot that was his name, so it's ZA. Okay.
Yeah.
It could be like the rebuilding, though. That's my kind of hope.
After the big wipe.
Yeah, after he fires off the big weapon of mass destruction.
Very possible.
That'd be cool, and then you spend the game like helping rebuild stuff, and that's why
that was another cool aspect.
Scared of Pokemon.
That was another aspect of Arceus that was really cool. Is you could like leave. There were people like quests where you're like, oh, I need a fighting type Pokemon to help me carry all my stuff, and you could give them the Pokemon, and your Pokemon would just be bopping around town doing jobs. That was like probably one of the coolest parts of Arceus. So hopefully more of that, but in Paris this time. Yeah. In Lumiose.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to keep up. I'm sorry.
No, that's alright.
I wonder if they're going to keep up with the theme that was in Arceus of you as the player introducing people to Pokemon, because everyone in Arceus was like scared of them. They're like, they're beasts. We've never caught them before. What is this? And so in Z2A, you would have that thing of like, well, the war just happened and Pokemon are bad. And you're like, no, they're good. Look, fighting type lift bricks.
To broach on that question, the protagonist in Legend Arceus is from the modern day. Are we getting isekai'd again?
Probably.
How is Zygarde going to isekai someone?
We getting the Zygarde phone? We call Zygarde on our phone again?
Is Zygarde secretly also a creator deity?
I think we should also. We'll get to Zygarde, but we should remember because he's a subject in and of himself.
What I'm hoping is that and sadly I think it's been disproven, that Lumios would like serve as just your hub city. And you would, like the same way like I can't remember what it was called.
Jubilee Life.
Yeah, it was Jubilee. Yeah, of course it was Jubilee. And you like go out to the different areas. But I think there was something. I think it was from Pokemon.
It was Nintendo of America or something, or Pokemon of America said that the whole game takes place in Lumios.
Which I don't know if I'm a fan of or not.
It all takes place in the city?
Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, to be fair, the way... the Kalos is like one of the biggest cities in any of the games.
Okay.
Like, even...
But it's not like there's routes and stuff in it. Like, it's mostly just empty, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do very easily get lost in it, so...
Yes, there's a lot of, like, back alleys.
But that's because it all looks the same, right? It's not a case of, like, it's so big.
No, it is really big.
Okay.
It is also really big.
Yeah. It's just a big...
the way it's divvied up, it's like 3 or 4 sections.
Okay.
It's not one big... it's not one city. There's, like, Lumios South, Lumios North, stuff like that. Also, the way that the Kalos region is built, everything sort of loops into Lumios.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you go slightly outside of the city, there's a lot they can do with it. There's a desert to the north, and there's a coast to the south or to the west and stuff like that, I think.
But there's not like I don't know if there is routes between like south and north. It is just like there's one Pokemon Center in the city. That's what I mean by it's not that big.
City, but there's no routes between each section.
Like you can have it that it takes like 20 minutes to walk from the bottom to the top, and that's like, oh, it's huge. But it's like if there's nothing there for you to do, then it's still pretty small.
There are some things. I'll be a Kalos defender.
Okay. I don't know. It's just what I'm going off of in my knowledge of Pokemon.
There was the sushi shops you could fight in. There were the cafes that had like lore. There was the whole Looker side quest. Back alleys where you could fight random trainers that were just sort of there.
Okay.
I think it's probably good to compare the two of them side by side.
Yeah.
You've got like the dumbed down version that was in X and Y, and then what they're proposing for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they will like condense it down a bit. I suppose because you can easily just change the scale.
You make this bigger.
Yeah, with what the character's at, and like what 1, 2, 3, 4. There's what 5 sections, and just like block them off for story progression and whatever. I don't know. I'm interested to see how they handle it, because it could be well done. If it's just like a GTA / Cyberpunk kind of model, where you're just in the one city,
but it's massive,
enough to do in it. But I also, just personally, I would want to go out.
Yeah, there's Kalos has some cool stuff I would like to see again. Like, do they let us in the power plant?
Yeah.
Do you know about the power plant, Michael?
Does the power plant exist?
Yeah, well, that'd be my question, but I don't know about the power plant.
Okay, in X and Y there was like a quest in a power plant that you do to stop team play or whatever. But there was 2 sections to the power plant. There was like a west one and an east one. The west one's where the whole quest takes place, and then the east one you can't get in. You get to it, and like the camera pans out, shows you this power plant, and there's a door. You go up to it, and it says the door is locked, or whatever. And we've just never been able to get it. So people were like, okay, either there's some sort of quest here for a mythical Pokemon, or it's going to happen in Pokemon Z. And then we just didn't get Pokemon Z, and they stopped doing quests for mythical Pokemon.
Did they just forget about it? Weird.
They jumped to Alola. They sort of just skipped Pokemon Z.
Okay. Weird.
There's a lot of things in X and Y that are
like unfinished.
They're just like story threads that were left over.
It's like the Hex Girl. Speaking of story threads left unfinished, Zygarde.
What Pokemon is Zygarde? Like, what does it do?
So,
is the order Pokemon.
Yes. He's got a very unique mechanic where he's made up of a bunch of little cells. And he has different forms depending on how many cells he has. So there's the 10% version, the 50% version, and the 100% and Zygarde complete 100% version, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one you probably know is the 50% version where he's like a snake.
Yeah. He's a dog, a snake, and then just Power Rangers Megazord.
Yeah, which is like one of the coolest mechanics for a legendary, or at least most of them. And then they had to sort of shoehorn it into Alola later on.
How does it
like-
gain cells?
You have to find them
Oh, okay.
in Alola. We don't know how it's going to happen in this, but
Yeah,
Alola
which
you had to
means
find
you're going
them.
to have to scour the city.
Yeah, much like Spiritomb, probably.
I am not looking forward.
Most legendary Pokemons have one unique move, like Garatina's Phantom Force or something, or Shadow Force,
Mhm.
whatever it's called. Roar of Time on Dialga, stuff like that. Zygarde has 3, and they all do unique things.
I would hope
So
so.
it's clear that they wanted this Pokemon to be cool, but they just skipped Pokemon Z, and he never had a chance.
Yeah.
He was in
So
X
hopefully-
and Y though. How do you get it?
He
Like,
was
is it
he
through
was
a
just
quest
chilling in
lines?
a cave. He was literally just
Okay,
chilling in a cave.
that's a shame. Yeah.
So, like, in Diamond and Pearl, you can catch Garatina, but he's just chilling in a cave, right? In Black and White, you can catch Kieran, but he's just chilling in a cave. So, same happens in X and Y. People are like, okay, it's fine. The Zygarde lore comes in Pokemon Z. Pokemon Z doesn't come.
Hmm.
And like they did probably what they wanted to do in the games and the anime with Zygarde. Remember, there was like a big arc in that.
I don't remember. I don't think I watched the X and Y anime.
Just I haven't watched it either, but just from seeing things, I think like one of the little cells, the Zygarde cells, was like tagging along with one of the main characters,
That makes sense.
and then I think that's when like Ash Greninja awakened and all that.
Mhm.
Crazy stuff. But again, I'm not sure.
And I know you have theories about the starters as well.
Do you want to get into that?
I'm curious.
Who's your 3, Yudi? Who's your 3?
My guaranteed, which I'm very sad about, but it makes too much sense, is Piplup.
That's also my guaranteed.
Yeah.
Why is that guaranteed?
Why do you? Because the Gen 4 starters have not got a lot of love. They don't have a Mega. They weren't in Legends Arceus. And if you were to pick one of them, you would pick the one that's named after Napoleon.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you could have just said that.
Yeah.
That's yeah. No, that's pretty.
Because I done out the math in my head for the fire type starters because I thought, oh my god, Chimchar's
Chimchar?
going to get a mega.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a mega and fire. And then I thought, oh wait a minute,
No.
Piplup.
So like
Did-
water fighting.
Did the-
Yeah.
Starters in Arceus, did they have reason for being there? Because they seemed just random to me, like a
No,
smattering.
but there was no precedent set, right? Like Legends Arceus was the first one to combine starters from different regions into one game. So I don't think there was much of a reason for them being there.
Would there have
Well,
been any starters that would have been
Yes,
better
like
picks?
I guess like Samurot's a samurai, Decidueye is an archer, so they were like kind of Japanese themed.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure where the flame spirit type
Yeah.
name comes from. I don't know what the lore reason for that is.
But Piplup was also the one where I'm like, this thing's like 1,000,000,000% making an appearance.
Yeah. No, it could pull the most devious curveball.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, it's Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle.
I would cry if those three reappeared.
Horrible. That would be horrible.
Mega Charizard Z, let's do it. Let's
No,
do it.
We're getting Mega Charizard Z with Charizard kick. That's happened.
Charizard kick. My second, I think, is like the most likely, is Score Bunny.
Hmm.
Because Rowlet was like a surprise, because it was like only from one generation prior to the current one, when Arceus came out. And now Score Bunny is one generation prior. And the French do love their football. We will be getting Kylian Mbappe in Pokemon form. Is my prediction on that one.
No, I was thinking the same, but the other three options that potentially could happen is Tepig, Fennekin, and Litten.
I don't think they do Fennekin, right?
Or sorry, yeah, I'm just going through the list now. They don't do the Gen 6 starters.
Yeah.
It's either Tepig or Litten. And
I want to throw as well.
I want to throw my hat in the ring for, pun intended, for the wrestler. For
Okay.
Incineroar. Because it's just the most like beloved VGC Pokemon that isn't a legendary, the most popular non-legendary VGC Pokemon since its introduction. And a Mega Incineroar.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That would go kind of hard. Instead of a mega Cinderace or whatever.
It just becomes like full. He just turns into like John Cena.
Yeah.
Does he have like he's a wrestler? Is he like a luchador or something? What kind of wrestler?
He's
is
a heel, right? That's his thing.
That's funny.
That's his whole thing because he's a dark type. He's a heel.
That's funny.
Incineroar, the heel Pokemon.
That's great. I'm glad I asked that question because I wasn't sure.
Personally, I think if we don't get Mega Infernape, I think a Mega Incineroar would be pretty cool.
That would bring us to my last pick. I think even if it's Incineroar or Scorbunny, Litten or Scorbunny make an appearance, I suspect Snivy, the smug snake, will make an appearance.
Okay.
Because I think a Gen 5 Pokemon's pretty likely.
Yeah.
And we got Oshawott already. And I imagine the like haughty looking snake.
Damn, really coming for the French here.
Alright, no, I didn't realize saying the word snake is not alright. The well dressed Superior might make an appearance.
That was a good save.
Yeah.
I hope it's Chikorita and they do something interesting with Meganium.
Yeah, what would they do with Meganium? Just turn it into like a dragon or something?
Give it a fairy type.
Yo, that would be cool actually. Hang on.
Buff its stats a bit. Give it a fairy type.
Yeah, everyone's very excited for the Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
Have they only been in X and Y, and then I think they were in Let's Go?
They were in X and Y, they were in Let's Go, and they were in Sun and Moon.
Oh, they were in Sun and Moon
But
as well? Okay.
there were no new ones added in Sun and Moon. X and Y added some. Grass added some. For Gen 3 Pokemon, mostly, I think.
Oh, so there've been a lot of Megas in the games. They just like took them out recently.
They took them out for Sword and Shield.
Okay, that's
right?
weird.
Yeah. I think there was something, or somebody like data mined or the Sword and Shield like game files or something, and the Mega Stones are like named in it, but you can't like access them or anything.
I mean, they bet. What's the like super mega thing in Sword and Shield? Gigantamax?
Dynamaxing?
That's basically a mega, but it was just like they just like balanced it essentially, so you couldn't just whip it out against like someone's Caterpie.
Yeah,
which
that was the equivalent of like having a like 9th level wizard spells to go to D&D, just unleashing them on someone's Caterpie.
Which sucked. I want to be able to absolutely devastate. I want that Caterpie to have lost 5,000% of its health when I hit it.
Like you go to an earlier route, someone catches you and they start like smack talking, and then you just obliterate them.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my Mewtwo. Mega Evolve, Mewtwo Y. I will destroy your brain. Your brain is now mush.
Psycho Booster or Psycho, whatever his move is.
And then in Scarlet and Violet, they replaced it with Terraform or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Where it changes type. Was that
Yep.
cool? Was that like a worthy replacement of Megas?
Sometimes there's like some cool stuff you can do with it.
Yeah, I think, or just from like a coolness factor, and I even think from like the competitive side of things, I think Mega Evolutions were the best thing that Pokemon have
Okay.
introduced outside of the main kind of like gameplay loop.
Like, Terramaxing was also really annoying to do, because let's say you had a Pokemon, it had a grass Terra, and you wanted it to have a fire one. You'd have to just farm fire-type raids until you got enough like shards to change its type, and it took like 50 shards, and there wasn't even a guarantee that you would get one shard from each fight, I don't think.
Does it consume the shards?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah, because
like another
for
thing
Mega
on the
Evolutions, you
list
just have to find the stone, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, and you can
get the job done.
just give that stone to whatever Pokemon needs it.
is it a held item? They have to hold it.
Yes, they have it. That's like the trade-off.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize there was a trade-off.
There's only the kind of one-off case of Rayquaza, where it has just like happens.
Yeah, it's part of the story. Rayquaza eats the
Okay.
Mega Stone, and so can Mega Evolve without needing to hold it.
And can you only have one Mega Evolution on the team, or can like you have 6 Pokemon that all?
You can
Mega
have
Evolve?
all 6 of them holding stuff, but you only Mega Evolve once per battle, so you'd be kind of
Okay,
wasting your
yeah,
other
yeah.
slots.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. It was in Let's Go, and I played Let's Go, but like that game was baby easy, so I never had to do it. And it was more of like, okay, I'm gonna waste like 20 seconds watching the cutscene of Mega evolving them to
Yeah,
one-shot them when I
whereas
was gonna
my-
one-shot
my-
them anyway.
Yeah, my jacked up Pikachu can just do it significantly faster.
Yeah, so it was.
Pikachu with plot armor.
Replay codes.
That also, speaking of like its effect in terms of like fight battling and stuff, Arceus had a different combat like battle system. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
imagine it's going to follow that. I
Like the
wasn't
quick,
huge on it personally.
slow. I was. They were experimenting, so I don't remember it ever like actually mattering.
I don't think it ever did matter, to be honest.
Because
Yeah,
there were no trainers. You're only ever battling wild Pokemon.
you did fight some trainers,
Like
Yeah, at the
pretty rarely.
but it was rare because
the
no
most
one had
exciting,
Pokemon.
the most exciting thing about the Mega Evolution is the potential for new Mega Evolution.
Yes. Give Flygon a Mega.
Yeah, but there's so many Pokemon that would just benefit from it, that have been like we've all been discussing ever since Mega Evolutions were introduced. Like this Pokemon,
Because they've had to do it via giving those Pokemon evolutions instead,
Yeah.
right? Which is like strange.
Yeah. Whereas here, it's like anything that they don't want to change too much, they can just slap a Mega Evolution on it, and it doesn't need like the trade-off to get the Mega Evolution is a lot. So normally, when a Pokemon does get a Mega Evolution, it's worth it.
Right.
Except for Garchomp.
Yeah, Garchomp just gets worse.
It looks like the only Pokemon where the Mega makes it worse than the original.
Has there been a Pokemon that was like solid, and then they gave it an evolution that just like ruined it?
An evolution or a Mega?
Yeah, no, like an evolution where you would have wished that it was a Mega Evolution so that you didn't have to use it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
or I don't think so, because a lot of the Pokemon that their like later evolution isn't as good as the previous one. You just slap an Eviolite on it,
Okay.
and job done. You just double its defenses with that item.
Well, so my thought process there is the reason to give a Pokemon a Mega Evolution rather than just giving it another evolution is that idea of like, well, this evolution is kind of risky and it might ruin it. So if it's a Mega Evolution, then it's just like, okay, then you just don't give it the stone and you keep it with whatever, and it's still like as equal to if it was Mega Evolved. Whereas if it's a Pokemon that gets like a third evolution that like changes its typing, so now it sucks, and it's like, okay, well, you're going in at a disadvantage having a Pokemon at its second evolution.
I guess you could make the argument for like slacking because it completely changes how the Pokemon works because it's got
Yeah.
Truant and stuff. That's like the only case where I would think of that being a thing.
The only one I can think of that would hold true for.
So why is Mega Evolution so exciting? just because you know a Pokemon's going to get anything.
It's just really cool.
But what makes it cooler than them just coming out and being like, yeah, we're giving a bunch of Pokemon a 4th evolution. And you're like, oh my god, what?
I think it has to do with, like, so you're kind of limited by the base stat kind of system that they've built into it.
Okay.
Where your, like, final Pokemon is, like, what, like 5 to 600?
And usually 550 or below.
Yeah. So when you start looking at like giving evolutions to everything, even though from like a power creeps point of view, everything's kind of gone haywire already.
Yeah, the evolutions they were giving in Scarlet and Violet's a little cracked.
Yeah. Like I didn't think what they added in Sword and Shield was that bad, but this is what they added in Scarlet and Violet is just egregious.
So what he's saying is like Mega Evolution always adds 100 base stats to the Pokemon.
Okay.
So like, let's say a Pokemon like Nidoking, who's in that sort of, I think it's 505 for Nidoking, 510, something like that, for base stats. It would go up to 610, which for a Mega Evolution is fine, because he's giving up his item to use it, and it's, like there's sort of trade-offs to it. But if you were to give him an evolution, and he was always walking around like that, and you could have just 6 Pokemon like that on a team, that's when it gets a little crazy.
Okay.
And an item on each one.
Right. So the way they balance it is just Mega Evolutions can't have items.
Yeah.
Which can matter quite a lot.
Because on the competitive side, anyway, items can like make or break things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's all about like weaker kind of Pokemon getting Mega Evolution to make them a bit more viable. So you like diversify who's at the top.
Mm-hmm. Are there any Pokemon that you guys are like, definitely they're going to get a Mega in
Well, it would have to be like a Gen 6 Pokemon of some description, right? Probably the starters, almost. So Mega Empoleon, I believe, is almost a certainty.
Yeah. I think, Mega Empoleon's probably, if they are going to give us Megas for the starters, yeah, Empoleon is getting one. But Gen 6 Pokemon themselves,
what about like Hawlucha or Pangoro or something?
Yeah, like nearly every Gen 6 Pokemon could do with a Mega, barring like the obvious offenders like Aegislash and things like that.
Oh god, Mega Aegislash.
He's got a shield form and sword form stats at all time.
What about like because it's sort of still plot relevant, like Florges?
Yeah. We're finally going to get AZ's Floette. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a case for every Gen 6 Pokemon.
Are there any that you want to see?
Personally, or Gen 6 personally, Mega Aegislash would be funny. But,
it would be a little fun.
But no, I'm not sure. Giving it to, or I think, because Talonflame's been like nerfed again.
Has it? Did they drop its like speed again or something?
No, because like or Glory Days or Gale Wings Talonflame.
Yeah.
You can just give it another little.
Did they have abilities in Arceus? I don't remember.
They kind of have to have it in this one if they're going to introduce Mega Evolutions, because that's also a thing that changes.
Yeah, that's true. They can get new abilities.
Yeah, sometimes an ability can make or break a Pokemon as well.
So, like with, for example, Gyarados, its normal ability is Intimidate, very good ability, but it only procs like when Gyarados enters the fight, and so Gyarados comes in, intimidates, then it Mega evolves and gets like, was it Mold Breaker or something?
Mold Breaker, yeah.
So it can start hitting things regardless of their abilities.
Oh, okay, cool. Regardless of like levitate and stuff.
Yeah. So sometimes they get new abilities as well. So if hope abilities stay in.
Infamous example in Kangaskhan.
Yeah, parental bond or whatever.
don't know if you've ever seen Kangaskhan's Mega Evolution, Michael.
I don't think I have.
It's the funniest thing. All right, you're in the development team, Michael. Kangaskhan's getting a Mega. How are we doing it?
I just turn it into Kangaskhan, like full armor. Or Genghis
That would be cool.
Khan
That's not what they
style.
did. That's not what they did.
Child in the pouch grows up. Just
It's
for
just
the,
a duo.
Fighting
Wait,
together.
it doesn't change at all. The kid just pops out.
Yeah, and it's busted out the ass.
It's literally it was like the best Mega Evolution. That's the interesting.
Wow.
Because its ability parental bond. What's it? It's like it does an extra 20% damage just permanently for the rest of the fight or something. Is the baby like also attacked with Kangaskhan?
Each move just becomes a move that hits twice.
They did that in the newest gen with the little mouse Pokemon, where it's two little mice and then it evolves and it gets a child, and like that's it.
Yo, mega mouse hold. Get the grandkids in there.
Yeah, they're
And
any
then
from
have them
outside
disappear
of...
at the end. That was
Gen
also
6.
messed up. Was just to keep on Kangaskhan for a second. I do want to discuss outside Jesse that the kid would go back to being a normal kid after the fight.
After the Mega Evolution would wear off, you just shrink again and climb back into the pouch.
That's so funny.
The Pokedex also talks about how painful Mega Evolution is for the Pokemon doing it.
Oh boy, okay.
Mega Glalie has to break its jaw or something.
Oh, yeah, I did read somewhere about, I think it was Gyarados or something, where it was like, it can only feel one emotion, and that emotion is rage or something like that.
Even I think Kangaskhan's is like the mother now feels horrible anxiety for the child or something.
Jeez.
I think the only one that was positive was Pinsir, because Pinsir becomes able to fly, and it's what it's always wanted and stuff.
He just
Weird.
breaks wings.
It's the only one that's positive. is
I mean,
Pinsir.
I guess it's messed up either way. Like, if their situation improves, then it's bad that it's not permanent, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm curious. I need to corner a Pokemon writer and be like, why?
There's a few questions you could ask them about the Gen 6 lore with that, especially Megas. Anyway, Pokemon outside of Gen 6.
We've mentioned the main one already.
Mousehold.
Flygon.
Why does Flygon
Yeah,
make
Flygon.
one so bad?
It's just sort of underwhelming
Okay.
for what it looks like.
It could be so much more.
Okay.
One that I would personally love is Golurk, because I think Golurk is just the coolest thing, but it's again just sort of underwhelming.
To be
I
fair,
agree.
like Gen 5 Pokemon as well. There are many. No
Yeah, you could pretty much pick every Pokemon in the Gen 5 Pokedex. And that would be cool to see a Mega.
Of all Pokemon from Gen 5 that they decided, oh yeah, this Pokemon needs a Mega Evolution. Oh, Dino. Come on. There's so many better choices.
The Destroyer of Shiny Chains or whatever, right? Did not know break a bunch of Shiny Chains. I don't remember Shiny Hunting in Gen 5.
Breaker of Chains.
Oh yeah, Gen 5 as well. You could make you could reason.
Crocodile, Scrafty, Vanillux, Beartick,
Yeah.
Haxorus, I guess.
Yeah, I could do with a bit more speed.
Okay. And when's it planned to come out next year?
It just says 2025. It doesn't
2025.
specify.
Okay.
I'm assuming that we'll get another trailer
Yeah.
in like August or September or something.
Okay.
When did Legends release? Was it in November? I forget.
Legends released, I think it was January, wasn't it? Was it January?
I think it was.
It won't
I
be
think it
that.
was.
Hope it's not that early. Well, me and Hedy were discussing this. That we're hoping that because there's like no other current games on the docket, that Pokemon ZaZa has some time to cook.
Hmm. Well, again, I see Arceus is very much like made to be copy pasted. You know, like
Yeah,
there
but
was more
they
work
were
put
also-
into the engine than there was the actual game. So a lot of it's just going to be swapping out assets.
Yeah.
They were making Scarlet and Violet at the same time as Arceus, right?
Yes.
But that's what I mean is like the ZaZa, as you're calling it. I imagine it was basically being worked on since Arceus was worked on, but they just released Arceus of like, let's see if this has any merit. You
Proof
know,
of concept.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, keep working on it.
You know, I really hoped that the Pokemon division of Game Freak worked like that, but going by reports from the industry, I don't think it does.
What are the reports?
Okay.
They're like, they've got their year, they need to churn a game out, and that's it. Because even though they could probably work off Sword and Shield for a lot, they didn't use much of it, I think, for Scarlet and Violet, for the open world side of things.
Yeah, it was like a totally different...
Yeah.
Is it the same as the Arceus engine for Scarlet and Violet?
I don't think it is, right?
So, I think it's built off, like, a Breath of the Wild adjacent one.
Okay.
I think that's what the rumors were anyway. That they
Supposedly, for the size of the game they're working on, they're supposedly remarkably understaffed as well, right?
That's just a constant for Game Freak.
Yeah.
To be fair, the other side of things is that they're very limited by the Switch.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a new Nintendo console coming. Do you think this will come out on the Switch solely, or do you think it'll get like a dual release?
Very hard to tell.
I think there were no, because people were saying that because they announced it as releasing simultaneously, that's just everywhere at once. I can see it being like a launch title on this new console that's coming.
Yeah, I can see that too. And I imagine if it's a launch title on the new console, then it'll still be on the Switch, but it'll run like garbage.
Yeah.
Because wasn't Breath of the Wild on the Wii U?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
So something like that.
They do that every time though. Twilight Princess was on the Wii and the GameCube.
Wait, Twilight Princess was on the GameCube? I didn't know that. I'd imagine if we get news on this new Switch 2 or whatever, pretty likely that it'll be a launch title on that.
I don't know. I think there is another direct penciled in on the calendar, but I'm not sure.
Do we have a date for that? It'll probably be August, you said?
That's my guess, but I'm not sure.
There'll probably be like probably not a Pokemon Direct, but a Nintendo Direct before then.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into game industry talk. That's where I know the stuff. I'm the self-proclaimed.
You have a degree.
That is true. Well, you know, that's the person who gave it to me is a self-proclaimed degree giver. So where does it end?
Yeah.
They have a degree.
It was not like it was validated or anything, you know, just self.
Yeah, thanks for listening, grunts. I love that.
Why'd you say it with such vitriol? Oh my God.
How do you not say it? Tell me what. Give me an example of a tone of voice I should use for the grunts. Like
you just did. What you just did.
Thanks for listening, grunts. That still has a cadence to it.
Better. No, because you said it like, thanks for listening, grunts.
Yeah, I was kind of imagining I was grunting it, like grunts.
You sound like you're disappointed in them.
No, I'm not disappointed.
Maybe we are, you know? Who knows what
Wow.
happens?
Who knows?
Maybe we are.
Damn. Be better, grunts. I'm sorry. I feel like I have to apologize now.
I expect your quota to be higher next, or to be your worst ethic to be improved next week.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening. Hope you tune in next time. Kisses from me.
Big Z2A kisses from me. Let's go, Pokemon fans eating well.
I don't think the grunts deserve kisses after that behavior. So.
Damn. You messed up, grunts. You messed up.
Well, you lost kiss privileges.
I was on the precipice. Ruined it.
You're getting closer, guys.